Did you know your home, business or commercial internet routers record and store all your browsing data? Even if you're using incognito mode, your browsing history can still be recorded by the routers you're connected to the internet with.
Uh-oh, spaghetti-o!
That's why a VPN is such an important thing to have, because it can block third parties from viewing your browsing data and change your IP address.
Excellent!
VirtualShield is the quickest and most user-friendly VPN in the world. They've got plans to cover yourself, your family and your business, all the way up to an unlimited device enterprise plan. Link in the description. Online censorship is a pretty big issue at the moment. A couple of months ago, we saw major platforms and payment processors unperson Alex Jones for hate speech or spreading fake news or some shit. A couple of weeks ago, we saw the entire platform Gab pulled from the internet because that guy who shot up a synagogue in Pittsburgh posted on the platform just before he did it. Just last week, the Ralph retort was nuked from YouTube because they got some naughty super chats. And just this morning, I heard about a YouTuber called Shirako who got his entire channel deleted because he uploaded some Red Dead Redemption gameplay footage where a suffragette non-player character got punched. No shit, they'll now ban your ass for fictional video game violence against feminists. Never mind the billions of hookers that got beaten, shot, blown up and ran over in GTA San Andreas. Violence against literal NPC feminists is not on.
So gay.
Now Gab has managed to get itself back online with a new hosting company and domain registrar, but they are also given the boot by payment processors PayPal and Stripe. I'm not sure if they've found an alternative means for payment processing outside of Bitcoin just yet. And all this because they don't have the ability to read the minds of their users and preemptively kick any nutjobs before they go out and do something fucked up. Meanwhile, Facebook are quite happy to enter into a business relationship with and actively promote fucking ISIS.
Last week, we told you we were able to buy Facebook political ads posing as Mike Pence, Tom Perez, and the Islamic State. We were able to do it in spite of Facebook's new political transparency tool that was supposed to bring Facebook in line with conventional advertising rules that identify who paid for an ad.
Now, the Ralph retort was given the arse by YouTube right around the time that the Wall Street Journal published an article about how racist super chats are funding the alt-right, which was partially focused on the Ralph retort. So it seems that the Ralph retort channel was terminated because of some super chats that other people, who obviously have their own YouTube accounts, sent. Now, I understand that some of these super chats were edgy as fuck, and probably did push the boundaries of what YouTube are willing to cop. But if YouTube are going to clamp down on edgy boys saying "gas the Jews," then why are they okay with feminists saying kill all men, or Antifa cockheads saying punch Nazis? I mean, I'd prefer that none of them got the ban hammer, but for fuck's sake, a little bit of consistency would be nice. And why is it that the Ralph retort was penalised when it was other people who, as I said, have their own YouTube accounts that actually sent the super chats? Is that the new precedent that YouTube live streamers have to live with? What's to stop someone who doesn't like you from sending a few edgy super chats from a few different accounts, reporting them all to YouTube and having your channel taken down? Now, as all this plays out, the Southern Poverty Law Centre, who are supposed to be a civil rights group, but in reality are a bunch of left-wing activists, have launched a new campaign called Change the Terms, Reducing Hate Online, which is basically designed to lean on social media platforms and shame them into adopting terms of service as dictated by them. To give you an idea of who we're dealing with here, if you click onto the Southern Poverty Law Centre's Extremist files, you'll find Alex Jones prominently displayed front and centre, yet there's no mention of Antifa. I'm not even talking about individual members of Antifa, I'm talking about Antifa as a group. It's like they don't even exist. Yeah, beat the shit out of people in the streets, attack people with bike locks and M80s, spray people with mace, capsicum spray and bottles of piss, set shit on fire and vandalise property, all while dressed in black uniforms and ski masks. That's just normal behaviour. The American government considers Antifa to be a domestic terrorist organisation, yet they don't even rate a mention in the Southern Poverty Law Centre's Extremist files. But say some crazy shit about gay frogs or the reptilian globalist overlords and you're a fucking extremist. I'm sure these new terms and conditions the Southern Poverty Law Centre are pushing are going to be fair and balanced.
White supremacists.
White supremacists.
Ku Klux Klan.
White supremacists.
White supremacists.
Oscars so white.
These alt-right types.
Neo-Nazis.
White supremacists.
White supremacy.
White supremacists.
White nationalism.
Gamergate.
Alt-right.
Misogyny.
Dog whistles.
4chan or 8chan.
White supremacists.
Gab.
White supremacists.
I'm not sure that any human being would want to be on Gab.
White supremacists.
White supremacists.
That was a sneak peek of the Southern Poverty Law Centre's launch video for their Change the Terms campaign. And while I did strap that together for effect, it's just as retarded, paranoid and regressive without the edits.
Hi, thank you. My name is Claudia and I am representing the Arab American Institute. I had a question. How do you define hate groups, and kind of what could be some of the negative ramifications of having a legal definition of a hate group?
So the scope of these policies, the policies themselves do not go about defining hate groups. What they define is hateful activities. And I'm happy to read the definition again. I read it at the top, but it really is activities that engage or incite, incite violence, intimidation, harassment, or defamation against groups or people.
Incite defamation? Incite harassment? What the fuck does that even mean? I mean, if someone's accused of inciting harassment or inciting defamation, then presumably they haven't actually harassed or defamed anyone. Otherwise, they'd just be accused of harassment or defamation. So let's say I make a video about someone pointing out some dumb shit that they've done. I don't defame or harass them in any way, but someone who watches my video thinks, gee, this retard's such a cunt, I think I might go and defame or harass them. Have I just incited harassment or defamation? How could anyone publish anything on social media and be 100% certain they haven't incited harassment or defamation in some way?
I'm curious what you think about how these kind of principles might apply when we're really looking at gender-based violence online and harassment, which is obviously, you touched on it, but it's a slightly different problem. So I'm curious if you see any things that could be learned from this in that arena to try to stop gender-based violence online.
Okay, the only sane answer to this is, what the fuck are you talking about? There's no such thing as online violence.
Yeah, I mean, I think these are incredibly important.
What about the statements of our president? Are those incitement, and what can we do about them?
Yeah, again, maybe I would say I'd have to think about which statements in particular. I'm not speaking for the group on this, so I don't know if other folks have thoughts. Yeah.
I would say yes would be our short answer.
Yeah.
At Color of Change, we have definitely called for Trump's personal account to be removed from Twitter. He has retweeted fake statistics from known white supremacists. The intentional spread of violent misinformation that is having direct implications of safety and people on the ground, I think that's a classic case of incitement.
Like, I'm thinking of when Trump retweeted those videos, anti-Muslim videos over the past summer that were put out by a group that eventually was proscribed in Britain, actually, disbanded.
I think I'm with Brandy on this. We don't have a, I don't know that we really didn't spend a lot of time talking about the president, but I'm sure we could go case by case as examples. As a Mexican American, I can think of a specific example of group defamation that would apply here.
Well, there you have it. The President of the United States needs to be banned from Twitter for spreading hate. The far left considers anything they don't agree with to be hateful, and anything that's hateful needs to be banned from the internet.
You know what? Enforcing community guidelines and just banning people who run channels that are built on abuse and harassment and promoting hate speech. You know, that would be a way to solve that problem too. I mean, you could, at least as far as YouTube goes, or any social media platform, you could just get rid of people like Carl Benjamin or Bearing or the other people you mentioned and the other people you didn't mention who have been doing the same act for years, who are just abusive, dishonest, bigoted trolls who pander to white male aggrievement and incite harassment against vulnerable people in order to promote themselves and attract viewership and attract audiences and attract, Patreon support, things like that. Just enforce community guidelines and say that's not allowed. You can't use our platform to spread hate and abuse and intolerance, and just get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, with all these bannings going on, it probably wouldn't hurt to subscribe to me over at minds.com/bearing. Minds has been all about free speech from the very start, so even if I eventually get banned from every other platform, you'll still find me there. Cheers, cunts.